I would like to stand on the existing protocols. But I would like to recognize the fact that we have a president, and we have the honorable minister, and we have the honorable minister of state, and we have those on the high table. I would like also to say that I have special relationship with the National Library. I recognize the fact that we have a lady which our organization is called Biographical Legacy and Research Foundation, publishers of the first and only online Who is Who in Nigeria. We've published the Who is Who for the past 40 years in Nigeria. Our website, bleb.org, is one of the largest you can get about personalities anywhere else in the world. We have over 35,000 names on our website, on Nigerians. The whole world is consulting it. The United Nations consulted to make some appointments. Most universities in America studying African studies, they consult. It is open, it is free access. That's it. We did that because we wanted everyone, including children and researchers, historians, diplomats, journalists, to be able to have access to what we called credible information on Nigerians. And I first did that when I was working for Newswatch magazine for about 10, 15 years. I was the chief of research, and I published a book called Newswatch Who is Who in Nigeria. And it became the encyclopedia for use when you want to get facts about Nigerians who have achieved so much in their lifetime. Only recently, our foundation looked at the collection of Who is Who in Nigeria and decided that we should create a hall of fame for those who are what we call super achievers, those who have achieved higher than other group of achievers. And it happened that one of the fellows that was inducted into a hall of fame was Professor Chinwe Anenobi. Let me say this. The board of advisors had a challenge. It was between her and the very first woman professor in Nigeria, Professor Felicia Ogunshe. We had two of them on our platform, and the vote was higher for her because they believe that what she's doing at the National Library right now, especially the digitization program, is first of its kind. And that was what aided us that let's leave the 97-year-old first female professor in Nigeria and give her a special recognition, which was what we did. But I'm here to support I'm here to support reading, the campaign. In our organization, we have what we call Read Nigeria Read. And we try to push that every day. Every day on Facebook, on Twitter, and other platforms, we try to promote Read Nigeria Read. And that's why when she invited me here, I knew that I was going to meet with students and professionals. And I want to encourage the students to, as much as they can, they should be reading. I started reading at the age of 5, and nobody took me to school. I ran across my father's house to across the road to go to school. And today it's on record in my town, I was the first child to run to school without waiting for my parents to take me to school. And that happened at the age of 5. So you can imagine, since the age of 5, I've been reading. And then I come from a family that produced the first professor of soil science for Nigeria. And that professor, my uncle, wanted me to be a medical doctor. But when I got to Ibadan, where he was lecturing, and I was staying at home waiting to take constitutional exam for the medical school, somebody came to the house and said, "Boy, there's an advert at the library. If you want to be a library assistant, why don't you go in and apply?" I went there, I applied, I got into the library in 1971. And I've been living in libraries since then for the past 52 years. If you come to my place, I'm going to open it to students and historians for the first time. I have 13 rooms of library full of books from ground to the ceiling. 13 rooms full of books. And I want these students, I'm going to open it up to students. If you have any assignment or no assignment, anytime you are free, just come and we guide you into reading and the use of books. Because we want our students to prosper, we want them to be wise, we want them to do well at school. That's why we're going to open up that space, for that purpose. I was the one working with President Olusegun Obasanjo that signed for the building of the National Library in Nigeria. That building, it was in my own time. I was the first person in this country to be appointed to the post of Special Assistant on Library Research and Documentation. Because I was a friend of the president and his campaign, I was the director of campaign for President Olusegun Obasanjo. So when I arrived at the villa, he sat me down and said, "What title do we give to you? This is the first time we are creating this kind of position in this country. So what do you want to be called?" I said, "I'm not looking for a big title. Just call me in charge. I'll be special assistant in charge of library research and documentation." But before then, I would also want to announce to the people that collaborating with him and visiting all the presidential libraries in America, I was the one that brought the first presidential library from America to Africa. That is what you find at the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library. It's the first and only. But it is of my interest that I am preparing a bill that will make it, like in America, compulsory for every president to have a library. I have a prepared speech here because we are used to writing. I started with the Nigerian Chronicle in Calabar. I served there for 9 years. Delegiwa came for me. We started Newswatch magazine, and I was there for about 10, 15 years. And then I became a friend of the president, and I worked with President Olusegun Obasanjo for 25 years. And we have the Presidential Library is one of the richest libraries in Africa. My concern is that we should, as we encourage reading, we should also show concern about the completion of the National Library. For the past 52 years, I traveled with President Olusegun Obasanjo to almost all nations of the world. And everywhere I went to, the president would ask me, go find out what they have on Africa in that library. And by so doing, I visited about 550 libraries around the world. But it doesn't make me too happy when I come back to Nigeria and we can point to a place that we can say is befitting for the National Library. I can promise you that I have a group, a team of professors, a team of readers, a team of publishers who are all out to ensure that this library, the National Library, will be completed. I want to thank you for coming out to support this project. Reading is important. I have a speech here that I will give it to the National Librarian, and there's no more time to read that. But I came because I'm a reader, I mean, I have more than 2 million books under my roof. And I read every day. For the past 52 years, there's no single day I did not get a book, either a new book or get somebody donating a book to me, and I buy books too. I have only 3 children, and they came into the world to meet with books. So there was no way out they couldn't read. They had books on top of their head, they had books on their floor, they had books everywhere in the house. So they bump into books, so they were forced to read, and I encouraged them to read to the highest level they could, So the same way, I want to encourage the young people inside this room that if you want me to come to your school to help organize your library, I'm available. If you want me to come and teach the use of books and library, I am available. My organization is making its services available to all of us here. So we're looking out for you. But what I want to say as I close is that every day of the year, try and find something to read, a book to read. You find that you will do better. You do better in your schoolwork, you do better in the society, you do better in your profession. I'm a very practical librarian. If you come to my way I'm in charge, you see the practice of librarianship in the practical way, not in theory. We don't do theory where I belong. In my place, on all the doors, we make it clear there that we don't buy, we don't sell excuses. When you enter there, you must produce results. And that result must be practical for the world to see. And that's why we got ourselves involved with digitizing all the magazines, especially the one I work for, Newswatch, and Tell, that so much information embodied in those magazines, but they are not online. Because we use the cryptographic machine to produce them, so they are hidden there, many people are not aware. But we're going to do that. My organization is taking that so that the information contained in these magazines, and these are key information. Because what matters is that if you are running a nation and you don't have adequate and credible information to take the right decisions, you may not be taking the right decisions. But I also appeal to government that they should also know that the National Library is strategic, and they should at least vote enough money to keep it running and running the way other libraries in the world are running. I state my case.